The 1.5%
Oh, that makes me, that just makes my bones chill. That's scary stuff.
This bag ain't never going out of style. This bag ain't never going out of style. Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada might have got a while, but this bag ain't never going out of style. Ooh, she feeling my style.
What's poppin'? It's your boy Cassius Cuvée here, my man DJ Lex on the show Poppin Crypto. We check your prejudice at the door, because this ain't your average crypto show. We like to have a little bit of fun with it while educating at the same time. Today, we have on a very special guest. DJ Lex, who we rocking with?
Trading Spaces.
That's right, we got on my man Guy Adami from Trading Spaces. You also know him from CNBC's Fast Money with Melissa Lee. That's right. And I brought him on here and we're going to discuss some trade ideas. But before we interview him, I want to spit a little something about his new show, Trading Spaces. DJ Lex, drop that beat one time. Yo. All right, I started here. I know that 22 is going to be a harder year. So I tapped in for the tips that you volunteer. We ain't even got a trip. We can stand the fear. I'm just swinging on the VIX like a chandelier. The S&P is alright, but it's some damage here. But this the show that's gonna be making the advantage clear. Trading Spaces, I can't believe they had it. Wordplay on a classic, man. You must know Twitter magic like I'm watching Trading Places, and I laughed till it hurt me. Dan and Guy Adami, that's like Aykroyd and Murphy. Bitcoin was going up, then suddenly a stop is short. Calling BK Beaks like he got a crop report. When gambling and weed stocks drop, grown men cry, but Tim's a karate man. Hebrews on the inside and wear it well. My mind makes rounds like a carousel. Jamie Lee, Melissa Lee, that's one too many parallels. Throw back like a baby Ruth. I always have to say the truth. Somebody on Fox Business will probably play the Dukes. Trading Spaces is legit. They should follow y'all. Shout out to everybody on the team. I love all of y'all. Peace.
Trading Spaces.
Yeah.
Trading Spaces. Trading Spaces.
DJ Lex. My man here, DJ Lex, cutting up the record, Trading Spaces. If you ain't sleeping, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe so that way you get notified every time we drop a new show. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on my man, Guy Adami.
Cash, that is so good. You and DJ Lex, the brilliance in there is amazing. Some of the things you said, I bruise on the inside, like Karate Man, I bruise on the inside. That is unbelievable. Good for you. Good for DJ Lex. And I'm honored to be with you, my man.
Thanks, man. I'm really excited to have you on the show. You know, I mostly talk about crypto and everything Web 3.0 related. But as you know, I'm a trader. I watch the market every day. I watch Fast Money every single day. And I actually have a very specific trade idea that I wanted to ask you about.
Go ahead, man. Throw it at me, brother. Okay,
so I've been doing this now for not quite a year, but on and off for almost a year. I've been swing trading the UVXY. Now that is the 1.5%.
Oh, that makes me, that just makes my bones chill. That's scary stuff.
Okay. Well, let me try to do it safe. Now this is why. Let me tell you why I'm trying it out, right? You know, anytime I try to pick a stock, it's going to go up. It's like a jinx. It's going to go down, right? If I come on here and tell you when one stock is going to go up tomorrow, it's going to go down. The thing about the UVXY is that over time, it decays. Like if you zoom out, it's pretty much the direction of it long term is that it decays over time. So I haven't actually been buying it trying to, time the spikes. That I'll never get that. What I've been watching for and waiting, you have to be patient, is for when it spikes. When there's a lot of fear, as we're sitting right here right now, there's a lot of fear in the market, and then I'll basically dollar cost in to short it. And if it goes a little bit higher, you're going to be a little bit more. So basically my job now is to manage my bankroll instead of necessarily trying to pick the direction of the stock. Like eventually it'll come back down. But I wanted to throw it to you. You can give me some words of wisdom, advice, things to look out for in your experience.
No, Cassius, look, I hear what you're doing and I admire that. There's a certain temerity associated with doing something like that. As we used to say, that's the $100 table. But you understand that. And obviously the risks inherent in that are serious. We saw what happened to the UVXY in March of 2020. I think it traded north of 900 or so. So you just have to be prepared. Now, I'm not suggesting we're in that type of environment now, but some of these spikes can last longer, as we used to say, than you can say solvent. So I dig it, and I know you're on top of it, and I admire you for it. But I think that's something that if the folks out home are going to try to play it, they really got to read up and understand the risks associated with it, because they're great. But to your point, that great AIG commercial, the greatest risk is not taking one. And I think you understand that you can be rewarded, but your timing has to be really good, as you know.
Right. And you have to have a lot of money because otherwise you will get liquidated. There's no margin on it either. So, and I'm glad you said that about reading up on it. Because so, of course, when I kind of first discovered it, I was like, am I looking at this correct? What am I missing? So I did do research on it, and I kind of found out there's actually people like their full career is trading the VIX. You know, I was like, wow, there's like kind of a little community about it on Twitter, and some people, that's all they do, you know? And so it was just interesting, but I never got to talk to a pro about it, you know?
No, well, you're still waiting to talk to a pro because I ain't a pro, man. I'm just here trying to learn like you are. And the one thing, you know, it's interesting you say that, Cassius. I think something we've all learned over the last 15 or so years, there are no real experts. I mean, there are a lot of people that have done it for a long time, but they're no experts. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk, but what I think we've all learned the hard way is the market can humble even the people that are the most well-read and people that have the most years under their belt in terms of doing this. So I think humility is such an important component of this because the market has a way of humbling us all. I know you've seen it firsthand. I know without question that I've seen it.
Absolutely. I've definitely seen the market. I mean, obviously, you know, I was in the SPAC game when I dropped SPAC Dream. And one thing I like about the SPACs, as I said at the beginning of the song, is that this is an opportunity to get in on the ground floor. And that is kind of what led me when I discovered crypto and really got in deep, because now I'm like thousands of hours deep on Web 3.0 and DeFi. Like I can tell you like a wide range of things, whether it be Metaverse, NFTs, cryptos, different use cases, all sorts of stuff. I'm really, really deep on crypto now. And that's why I have the show Poppin Crypto. And I bring on a lot of guests who have a lot of stuff to say about that, founders of programs. But I like the idea of that crypto is so early, or I should say Web 3.0 is early. There's more than one way to play this than just buying or trading crypto. I have digital real estate in Decentraland, for example. I want to try to get a builder out there to kind of set up something with me so maybe we could stream fast money into the metaverse. That would be dope.
That would be amazing.
That's one thing I want to do. But yes, I know what you mean. Things go up and they come right back down again. And so, you know, like you were saying at the beginning, like we've all been humbled before. And that's why I'm like, you don't put your whole life savings in a trade like on the UVXY, you know what I mean?
No, but I think, Cassius, what it does for you, though, it also really hones your skills and it makes you laser focused on what's going on. And I think the beauty of what you do in DJ Lex, you know, it's an art form. I mean, what you do is art. And to a certain extent, I think what we try to do is an art form as well. And the end game is trying to educate people and to try to help people. And you do it through your art. And I try to do it through mine, and they're very, very different, but in a lot of ways, there's a lot of similarities because I think the end game, or the end goal, I should say, is pretty much the same. You're trying to help people and you're doing it through your medium. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I'm not saying that just to sort of blow smoke. I mean that. And I know we've had conversations offline to this effect. And, you know, we found each other a while ago. Well, I say, you know, you watched the show and we reached out to each other on Twitter. And I really, really admire what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. And you're probably reaching an audience that we probably couldn't reach. But you know what? That's just as important as the audience that we are trying to reach during Fast Money.
Sure. Yeah, you're absolutely right, too, because I got a lot of people who I tell they're on, what were you on, CNBC? I'm like, CNBC, Fast Money, you know, and they don't all know. But that's really, I do kind of make my mission to try to educate and spread awareness to this because I wish I knew 20 years ago about trading the stock market or at least investing, you know, financial literacy and education. One way or another, I want to bring attention to people to just get involved. You know, I can't, if you watch my show, I never really give price predictions. I'm just not one of those people. I know it's not like a hot button thing when you say this stock is going to this price and everybody wants to check back in to see if you were right or wrong. They can make a comment. I don't do that so much. I more, you know, talk about education and learning about how the market works, how the whole finance game works, again, how DeFi works now, you know, decentralized finance in the metaverse and all of these type of things, because, you know, innovation is coming whether we want it or not.
Yeah.
So I'm going to always try to stay on the forefront of it, but education is the only way you can do that.
Got to evolve or you're going to be left behind. And, you know, you're doing it in a way that makes it accessible for people. You know, you're doing it in a really fun way. But if you listen to your raps, and I mean this sincerely, there's a real brilliance in there. And you're teaching during your raps. And I think, you know, even if people come away with just a modicum of understanding, they're going to come back the next time and learn a little bit more. So good for you for what you do, you and DJ Lex are doing. I think it's really cool. And I love it. Now, if I tried to do it, it would be painful. But when you do it, it's cool as shit.
But, you got the comedy tips. I swear to God, you guys are the quickest people on TV. I'm like, how do they come up with these so quick? You guys are like this with the punchlines.
I appreciate that. It's when you get to be my age, and I just turned 58, I have so much useless knowledge stored up in my head that, and I have, in some ways, I can go back to that Rolodex of information and I can pull from it. And the one thing is, and I think you've learned this as well, it's amazing what you can do if you really listen. So when I'm on the show, it might look like I'm paying attention, but I am. And I'm always listening for something that I can jump on or bring back or, use some sort of reference, some obscure reference that maybe only a handful of people know. But sometimes I'm only talking to a handful of people in terms of the show, and I'm okay with that.
Right. In fact, somebody put that on Twitter, I think it was over the weekend or something, like you're watching the football game or something, and they're like, I love how Guy just tweets whatever he wants, whether anybody knows what he's talking about or not. And I started laughing when I read it. I can't remember what your response was, but it was like, you better believe it.
That's right. And I think that's fun. You can't be all things to all people. I know who I am. Like, I'm really comfortable with that, and I don't try to play something that I'm not or something that people think I should be. I sort of try to skate in my lane. Not that we all have lanes, but I think it's disingenuous to try to be something you're not. And I think, again, what you're doing is you. I mean, you're being you, and you're bringing literacy and education and understanding, to a great audience and a really important audience. So again, I say great for you both.
Thank you very much. Before you leave, though, you got to tell us about Trading Spaces. Let us know, what's the main driving factor behind the show?
It's great. I'm glad you brought it up, and I appreciate that rap. And we should play it before every time we do it. We do it Mondays and Wednesdays. We're sponsored by CME Group, which I'm sure you're familiar with. But Twitter came out with this Twitter Spaces a while ago. So Dan came up with the idea of this play on words with Trading Spaces, Trading Places, the great movie. And we sort of ran with it. And people are finding us. And every Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, people are tuning in to listen to what Dan and I say about what's going on in the market in real time, what we think's going on, what we think might happen. And what we found is not only are people listening to it live, but they're finding us on replay, whether it's on our risk reversal website or it's on YouTube, wherever it is. So it's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun. We have guests come on. We'd love to have you come on at some point as well. It's a really interesting, innovative way that Twitter's trying to grow audience. And I think we're on the forefront of it. And I think that's only going to grow.
And I liked it a lot too. When I was listening, the last time I was listening, I was getting my hair braided. So I was just sitting in the chair and I was listening to you guys, while you're doing the show. So it was like, that's kind of the advantage, right, of like radio or medium of space, just audio as opposed to a show, because then I can just listen to it while you're doing something else or driving or whatever. So it's kind of like, I won't say it's fast money. It's not the same as fast money, but it's like the same idea as far as getting education, but you can do it without having to actually watch the show.
Yeah, it's like a radio show. It's like talk radio for a half hour Mondays and Wednesdays. And I can tell you something. I can say this with almost 100% certainty, that you were listening, getting your hair braided. At my age, my hair will never be braided, brother.
Okay. It's all good. It's all good, man. I gotta come out to New York and visit with you guys one time. I definitely want to do it. That'd be great.
We'd love to meet in person. Hopefully we'll get back in the city soon to do the show. We haven't been to the NASDAQ outside of a couple months over the summer for 2 years. And hopefully at some point the world gets back to normal. But in the meantime, you got a football game this weekend. My sense is you're probably a Raider fan, but the San Francisco 49ers are on the right side of the bay as well.
Yeah, well, my man Money B, he was actually the first person to even teach me about NFTs, Money B of Digital Underground. He's a big 49er fan. He's down in LA. I'm going to see if he's going to go to the game. I'm rooting for the Bay. I always root for the Bay. But, yeah, my team is not there. All my football teams left, football teams. The Warriors are in San Francisco now, but I still rock with the Warriors. So I definitely a part of Dub Nation for life.
I appreciate it. Listen, I really appreciate you guys having me on. I know it took a lot of time to do that wrap on Trading Spaces. I appreciate the effort that went into it. And we look forward to seeing you. I mean, I don't know if you can tell your fans right now, but you're going to be on Fast Money, I think, on February 1st.
February 1st. Fast Money, February 1st. Look for your boy Cassius Cuvée.
I'm looking forward to it. Cassius, keep doing what you're doing. I think it's great. Tell DJ Lex thank you so much, and I'll come back anytime you guys want.
Man, I really appreciate that, guy. I learned so much from you, too. I really do. We'll go on later about all the stories, but I have learned a lot from you, so I really appreciate you coming on my show. This means the most to me.
Means a lot to me as well. Thanks, Cassius.
All right, thanks, man. You missed a good one if you wasn't there. Taking over the game, man. NFTs, all that. That's how we get it, man. Artists taking it back for ourselves.